The faith is disturbing.
Believe it.
What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 300 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. Man, that's crazy. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
LJ, I believe you're muted.
What?
Oh.
There we go. I heard you.
I was like, wait.
I
was
Could be
like,
a live show.
I was like, why is everything breaking now?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 300. We're doing it live on Facebook for those of you who are listening, on your podcast app. First of all, thank you so much for listening and like coming in 300 episodes. It's just crazy to me. Trying to figure out how to.
What?
There we go. I got comments. Jordan's here already. What's up, Jordan?
Woo!
Hope you're doing all right.
Yeah, I can see the comments here as well on my end.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week we're geeking out about you guys, and we're geeking out about having 300 episodes, reminiscing about the podcast in the last 6 or 7 years. I know at least 6 because I got this memory on Facebook that I posted of us doing the podcast 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of madness.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So the way this podcast today is going to look like, we're going to go through what we're geeking out about. There won't be any news today. But we'll kind of talk about the video games and movies and TV we've been watching, and then talk a little bit about our favorite moments from the Geeks Under Grace podcast.
Yeah.
Of course, if you guys have any comments, questions you would like us to respond to, you can do so on the Facebook chat. So yeah, let's get into gaming. Go ahead, LJ.
Okay, so I'm sharing this on my own page right now, real quick. So yeah, the first thing, I guess, I've been playing a few things. But the big new thing that I didn't plan on getting at first, but it was one of those things where I'm like, FOMO again, and then I'm like, oh well, if I got people that are gonna play this, I'm gonna get it. So I started playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which has been really fun. I was nervous whether it was going to be worth the $70 because it's on PS5. It's straight up $70.
Oh,
yeah.
PS5 games.
So it also annoys me because it's like, I guess I misunderstood what it was going to be, because to me, like the pre-sequel, I thought it was going to be a lower budget spin-off. Like I didn't think it was going to be a full price game. So right. I was very hesitant at first, but so far I think it feels different enough to where they didn't just lift assets from Borderlands 3 or like basically like lift the HUD, or like it doesn't feel like they copied and pasted things and just like changed some stuff. Like it feels like a very different game, and the voice acting is amazing. They got Wanda Sykes, Will Arnett, and Andy Samberg, which I'm like, oh yeah. And the more I saw on TikTok of clips from that game, I'm like, just the voice acting alone is what I really want to get it for. And so far, it's been worth it. I haven't started it much. I haven't been through it because I'm still trying to finish Ghostwire, which I'm almost done with. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I made Ganondorf, basically, because you can customize your character in that. And so I made my guy look like Ganondorf, and he's the Clawbringer, which is like one of the melee classes, and he's got a dragon that flies around and like torches people, like a little baby dragon. And then you can multi-class eventually, so like I'm gonna choose one that's gonna like add some magic to my set, because it's like Ganondorf. He's also got some magical abilities. So yeah, I'm excited.
What's the gameplay like? Is it?
Well, it's Borderlands. It's straight up Borderlands. It's a shooter.
Oh, it is Borderlands. Okay.
Yeah, there are guns in the game, but they actually emphasize melee a bit more. And then instead of grenades, you actually have spells. So like one of the like first ones you get is like a magic missile type of thing where you shoot out a couple like projectiles. Like, so instead of grenades, it's magic abilities, which is super cool.
I was gonna say, I want to know more of the D&D aspects of this
yes.
game.
And then so in Borderlands, they also used to call it a second wind. Whenever you would save yourself or get up, and in this one they call it a saving throw. They're like save and throw, and it's like, all right, I'm back up. Because if you kill an enemy while you're almost down, then it's a saving throw, or a second wind as they used to call it. There are stats you can upgrade. It does have like the usual Borderlands class tree. It's pretty fun so far, and so I got a couple people I'm going to be playing it with, and so far no regrets. I was just very hesitant to drop that money.
An actual, I guess like in Borderlands in the past you could play in parties too, but like can you play in parties where it's like someone's like a fighter and someone's like a...
Well, yeah, there's different classes. Borderlands has always been about different classes, but it's their own classes. It's not like really classic like D&D classes. Okay. So you'll find things that might be reminiscent of a particular class you like. Like there's one they're kind of silly. Like there's one that's called like a Blade Mancer, and it's basically like an assassin, but like with magical, like kind of like blade, like stealthy kind of abilities. So it's like they literally just melt some together and just call it, you know, a thing, their own thing. So yeah, it's fun. I rarely have forked over $70 for a PS5 game, but this one was worth it. So
I don't think I have yet paid $70 for a PS5 game because I did the cheesy, the cheeky PS4 upgrade with
for Horizon. Yeah.
Horizon. So
yeah, and that's I would say that's what I call these days like AAA tax, because anything that's made from Activision, EA, or like 2K or whatever, like if it's made by one of those big giant AAA companies, then it's probably going to be $70. Yep. Or even Sony themselves, first party. Most of the time it'll be $70 now. So yeah.
Cool. Shelley, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing more Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, and I'm slowly getting better. I don't know if I will ever would ever compete or anything. Maybe as a meme or maybe just to go 0-2, but it's fun. I'm getting more used to like the inputs, because that's really the biggest thing that's like different between Smash and this sort of fighting game, like a traditional fighting game. Is like the inputs are so different, and like movement's so different, whereas like the conceptual stuff is actually pretty similar, like neutral game, advantage and disadvantage and things like that. So as far as those are concerned, I'm like, yeah, I understand those things, but yeah, inputs, I've been in the challenge mode trying to do the combos. I don't get super duper far, but I kind of just like go as far as I want to with each character. As far as it's fun, like I still really like Yu and Yosuke. I think those are my favorites so far.
Junpei is my favorite.
Yeah, and so that's been fun. I've been playing a little bit of
and then Akihiko
as well. Yeah, I haven't done story mode yet, because I know, like as you said, it's more of a visual novel.
Yeah.
So I kind of just need to do that, but I've been playing arcade mode.
Yeah.
Which has been fun.
That's where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good time. I love how it does remind me of just like classic mode Smash, because it's like every character has a different arcade mode, right? Every character has like different dialogue, different characters that are fighting, different things that are happening. So I think that's pretty cool. It changes by difficulty as well, at least not the dialogue, but the actual like people you're fighting, which I think is neat as well. But yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of that actually.
That's awesome.
And it's crazy because it's like this is the first traditional fighter that I'm actually like putting any sort of time into. And I'm actually like feel like I might be picking it up a little bit. I'm sort of understanding it a little bit more. But again, it really is just so different from Smash, which is really funny. But it's a really cool game. I like it. It's let's just say it's more content than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I feel like most fighting games, I'm just like, oh, you just like fight other people or you fight TPUs or whatever. But I'm like, no, there's like these challenge modes. There's arcade mode. There's also story mode. There's also like dungeon mode. I tried the dungeon mode.
The dungeon mode's really fun. That's the one I've been doing a lot.
Also cool. Yeah, I love how it's they implement, actual dungeon sort of things like from Persona games. So it's like you get your level up and you could feed your different abilities with different points, and so you can get stronger. And so like I'll probably just keep playing that mode because that's really fun too. Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll again ever actually be legitimately good at all. Probably not. because like as far as like combo strings, I'm still really bad
So
at those.
I would encourage you, don't get too caught up in trying to perform all these different combos, because most of the time it's usually like the more experienced players, and like most of the time things happen so much in a fight that you're not going to pull off those giant strings of combos.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like, especially that is one thing that's similar with Smash, is that like chip damage and well, it's actually, chip damage is way more useful in a game like this when you actually have a health bar. Chip damage in Smash is actually not super helpful because you can get your percent up and up and up, but then all of a sudden your kill confirms don't hit. At least when you're a Yoshi player like me, and it's hard when every time you forward tilt, they go flying in the sky and you're like, wait, I can't reach you. But anyway, I just think it's really fun. I think it's cool. And I know there are some Smashers in the area who also play Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, and they like talk about maybe like hosting a tournament or something. I would probably go just for the meme. I'd probably go just to like hang out and get wrecked. But yeah, that's a cool game. I like it a lot. Still haven't beat Persona 4 Golden, but I'm still working on it. Besides that, I never have actually played Triangle Strategy. It feels like I've played it because I've been watching Daniel play so much. Right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that a little bit because he finally did the Golden route, right? So this is one of those games where there's a couple different endings, but then there's one ending that, as long as you make the correct choices throughout the entire game, then there's like a perfect ending.
Yeah, they call that the Golden Path with a lot of games. Yeah. Yeah,
which I always have mixed feelings about. Because it reminds me a lot of like Revelations, like Fate's Revelation, and how Revelation just like really just nullified Conquest and Birthright entirely. It was just like there's no reason to ever play Birthright or Conquest if you just play Revelations. It also just invalidated those games because of plot details, but that's sort of besides the point. I don't need to rage about Fire Emblem Fates or anything. Then of course, in comparison, there's like Fire Emblem Three Houses where
so I want to say, think about this long enough that we've probably been doing this long enough to where you probably have at some point in this podcast raged about Fates.
Probably. It's very likely. Yeah. But then it's like there's Fire Emblem Three Houses where it's like there's distinct paths in that game.
Yeah.
I almost said those games because again, Fates is 3 different games, whereas Three Houses did the correct thing of just having it one game. And they have different choices that and paths you can take, but in the end, they're all like feel kind of complete in their own way. Like there's still some things missing that you get from the other endings, but it doesn't feel like you've made the wrong decision. And anytime you always are like, oh yeah, this was the right decision, like, or a right decision, right? Maybe not the right decision. Whereas like Triangle Strategy, they kind of ham fist like every other decision that you make, every other ending. They're just like, oh, you made this decision, well, here are your consequences, and like that's not necessarily super satisfying for an ending. But then of course a golden ending, it's like there's no consequences because you did everything correctly. But it was fun to watch him play that, and it was fun to just kind of watch him do that. He just did New Game Plus, which of course makes sense, but I also was like, man, I want to play New Game Plus. I want to like play New Game Plus Persona 5 Royal. I like really am in the mood for that, but I'm like, I have to like tell myself no.
Play different stuff.
I like have to like I'm fine replaying that game. It'll keep me from buying new games. But I need to finish Persona 4 Golden first, or else I'm dumb. So that's what I have been playing.
Cool.
My wife scored with Persona 5. I was looking at all the games I can download, and that's one of them. And she was like, you should play it because you might actually beat it.
Oh. Oof.
Oof. And I was like, I don't know.
That game came out 5 years ago today?
Yeah.
Or maybe 5 years ago yesterday. I think it was today.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy to think about, too.
And then
Not
Royal,
of course. Royal only came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
The original.
A couple things. I beat Detroit Become Human.
Oh, nice.
You can beat that game pretty quickly if you
stick to it, yeah.
If you have no heart.
I was gonna say that's also a game that has multiple endings. I'm pretty sure like you could choose some endings that it'll just like come to you faster than.
Well, yeah, you can let everybody just die if you want to.
And then that's an ending, yeah.
Yep.
That would be rough. I thought about doing that, and then there's I don't want to give too much away. I was relatively peaceful, I guess I can say, in my playthrough, and a more violent playthrough would have been interesting.
But, like,
I think I got a pretty decent. Oh, go ahead.
You can go back, right? Or can you go back to specific decisions and points and forks, or do you have to go back?
So
Yeah.
that's like my favorite thing about it is like in the middle of the game, like you finish your chapter and then you immediately go back and change that chapter. The only problem with that is like if you were to go way back to something, then that would change the entire story.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to replay everything up to that point, basically. So I basically, whenever I would change something, I would change it like immediately after I was done with that chapter. There's something else I wanted to
You'd be like, nope.
Yeah. Well, every once in a while, you just get these things where I feel like every game does this, where you'll say something and then it like doesn't say what you wanted it to say.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
Mass Effect and Dragon Age are the kings of that.
Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last
too.
week.
Any
Yep.
Fire Emblem games.
Yep.
Any
I was like,
Dragon
that's
Age
not what I
games.
meant.
Any game that thinks they're like, ooh, you have a choice. It's like, no, we're just gonna say this thing for you.
Yeah. But I'm pretty like happy with my ending. Everything kind of went decently, I think. Oh. Yeah. You could just come through. Oh, I was gonna walk through.
We are live.
She needs her notes for Tunic.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a crazy game.
It's hard to talk about the ending without like giving anything away. But I'm pretty satisfied with what I got, which was everything that everyone seemed to want. But I did lose one person, and that was sad.
Oh,
Not a playable character, but a friend of the playable character, and I was like, not going back. You're just gonna have to deal with it. And then the other thing that I started playing is Team Sonic Racing,
oh yeah, that's a cool game.
which had a song with lyrics in it, and I don't know what it is about Sonic games with songs and lyrics, but I was like, I'm in.
Sonic Racing.
It goes so hard.
It's the title
I was
song, and I was
actually-
like, I'm ready.
I was even listening to I was just listening to a Spotify made like playlist.
Sonic
the other
Forces
day.
has such a good soundtrack, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like songs from that were coming up. Songs from Shadow the Hedgehog were coming up, and I'm like, I heard this game sucks, but
Sonic's
this
got
song
some
slaps.
fire music.
I love
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
Rush 40 just
Yeah.
goes hard.
I was gonna make a joke, but I'm holding back from it. I was gonna say that it slap as hard as Will Smith.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think that so you play as like a team of 3, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, almost like Sonic
And-
Heroes
Like
in a
Rush
way.
40, not Rush 40.
Yeah.
It sounds so similar to Rush. I was like,
Yeah. I didn't even question. I was like, yeah, that's right, sure.
Yeah, it sounded like you said
Um,
Crush to me. So
So the team aspect really doesn't do a whole lot in the game.
Yeah.
You can share items, which is cool, and then you can follow each other's paths to kind of like
mhm.
get around them, like slingshot around them.
Yeah.
It was fun. Me and my wife just kind of played single player. Like it was multiplayer, but with just singles. So there was no team. It was just me versus her versus a bunch of NPCs. And I love that they have that option.
Mhm.
I didn't really want to play with a bunch of like teammates. One thing I haven't done yet is play with her on a team, and I think that would be a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
I would think competitively this would be a lot of fun to watch.
It reminds me of there was a game called Onrush that was like competitive racing like that. That wasn't always like, oh, first place. You know, there was like objectives involved, and that's kind of what it reminds me of, because you had teammates and you can like boost off of each other's trails and stuff, like
Mhm.
a lot like that, and
That's
it's
cool.
really fun. Yeah.
That's worth mentioning too. Is you said it's not about getting first place necessarily. First place obviously is a lot of points, but it's
Mhm.
points based.
Yeah.
And so it's like how many rings you're getting, what place you're in,
Hmm.
and I think there's some other variables as well.
Yeah.
I think like how many people you hit with items and stuff. I will say a couple complaints that I have is the all the items look the same. I don't know. I think they're the Sonic Colors things.
Oh
Not
yeah,
sure.
the wisps or something. I forget
The
what
wisps.
they're called.
I don't know. They all look exactly alike.
They're like the alien things. Sonic was calling them
yeah,
aliens.
they're different colors, but like I don't know what a blue shell is. You know, like
Yeah.
what's really bothering me is the boost, and then what would be like the green shell in Mario Kart, because that's what this is, like Mario Kart game.
Mhm.
They look really like very similar, and so
Yeah.
I'll hit something thinking that I'm going to like
Yeah.
throw a shell forward, and I'm boosting, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And then my other complaint was something I was really excited about at first. The talk between characters is a lot of fun at first, and then it gets repetitive, which
Then
I
they
knew it was
say the
going
same.
to.
banter.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun at first though. Like Knuckles, he's like, learn to drive. And Tails is very Tailsy, and he's like, hey, that's dangerous. I love it. And then they have like against each other. So they'll be like, "Take that, Knuckles," or something. And it'll be from Shadow is who I was playing as.
Yeah, but if there's not enough writing, you just hear it over and over again. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay.
I was like, this is gonna get old real fast, and it did. But it's fun. I'm sure that's something that I can turn off in the settings or something. But then it wouldn't say anything at all, and that would be kind of lame too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing. It's been fun. That one's free on PS Plus right now. So
up until tomorrow.
oh, really? Oh,
yeah, tomorrow.
Well, get it now if you listen to the podcast. Sorry.
If you're listening live, grab it tonight.
I thought it would be new because it was a new month. You're right, though.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's Circle. It's I forget. Oh, so I think the coming month is Battle for Bikini Bottom, and a couple other games. Let me look.
I've just been riding the wave of like
Yep.
subscription given games, and it's been working out really well for me lately.
Oh yeah.
Before we get into the movies that we've been watching, a couple of things I forgot to mention. We are giving away 3 of these super soft t-shirts.
Yes.
Geeks Under Grace shirts.
Oh,
Me and
I
LJ
don't
are wearing
have
them.
mine.
Aw, it's okay.
Oh, so the games are Hood Outlaws and Legends, which is like a competitive like Robin Hood themed game. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and Slay the Spire, which Slay the Spire is really good if you're into roguelike card games.
Cool. Yep. But yeah, all you got to do to win one of these is be in the comments at the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We will throw you guys' names in and kind of randomly generate.
Yeah, anybody who drops a comment in there, we'll draw our names at the end of the show. Yep.
If you are watching and you're not commenting, you can just say hi. That's fine. I get
we get it.
Yeah. Some people like to lurk, but you're gonna have to say hi for us to know that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a shirt, and we're giving away 3 shirts as of right now.
Even though it's not Twitch, you can just type !lurk and we'd accept
totally
that.
Fine.
Yeah.
As of right now, we've got 2 comments and 3 shirts, so
yeah,
I would say hi.
We do got a few questions there if you want to answer them.
You're the last one. Yeah. Go ahead and ask the questions. That was the other thing I wanted to do before we get into movies. Marley asked if we have any personal YouTube channels. I did.
Yeah, Cody used to for a long
time.
Yep.
Yeah. Still follow you, I think.
Yeah. I haven't made a video in a long time. Mine was a Christian news show. It was in high school. It was crazy. And I'm 29.
It was going for a while. It was going for a good while because you were still doing it up until like a couple years ago.
Yeah, pre-Geeks Under Grace, and then like on Geeks Under Grace, we kind of took it and put it under that umbrella for a while.
Yep.
And so this Christian news show, I wanted to privatize so much of it because it's very opinionated, and I don't agree with all the opinions anymore that are on the YouTube channel. But maybe because I'm weird, cancel culture made me like decide that I'm not going to delete it, and I'm going to be someone that like you can look at that and point fingers and. I'm just gonna
own it.
People change that YouTube channel. It's kind of a testament to that. In a lot of ways, I've grown a lot since I made those videos.
That's awesome.
But yeah. The video. Some of them were real bad too, by the way. Like I'm not saying that it was a great channel. I look at some of those. I'm like, what was I doing?
But it happens. Best of us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know. I've done a lot of cool stuff. Because through that, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that YouTube channel. So that's cool. Do you guys, Shelley, you had your own Twitch channel for a while.
I have my own Twitch channel. I just don't stream on it really. But I don't know. I mean, in the future, it all kind of depends.
I've done like some Doom stuff on my channel like a few years ago. The one I've done a few videos here and there is TikTok, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch TikTok. I'm not gonna make videos. I wanted to, but I don't have the time for it anymore. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna try. Though, like I'll post one here and there if it's like one of those like which character are you things, or if it's something fun like that, I probably will. Like I have some stuff coming in from the TikTok DK Oldies from a retro store, so I'll probably do like a little unboxing for that. But like I'm not gonna do anything too crazy with it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as far as other content.
I'll say that too is I would still be making videos by the time you mentioned like the time constraint.
Ooh, yeah. I work a full time
videos a week.
Yeah, so I work a full time job now, which is something I haven't done. So it's like it's definitely Not that I haven't, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, my time is definitely divided now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
It was 3 videos a week, and I was probably spending...
That's a lot of editing work.
...hours doing them.
Even editing a dang 3-minute TikTok video can be time consuming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
Which
there you go.
It'd be awesome.
Right.
But
we'll get to the movies.
Yeah.
I want to debate LJ here. 'Cause me and him both watched Morbius.
yeah.
And for those who don't
I need to
know,
do this.
I love movies. Like, I literally, you could give me Sharknado, and I'm like, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Morbius was objectively bad, LJ.
Oh,
I don't think you're arguing that, though.
No. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad movie, but I feel there was some, honestly, it started off pretty solid, but then, the further it just got more and more sillier. I really don't think Jared Leto or Matt Smith are, a lot... I mean, there's a few actors that, didn't do very good, but I feel like as far... Jared Leto and Matt Smith were fine. They were absolutely fine. The thing that...
I forget Matt Smith was in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I
Like-
remember
like
the trailer.
the
I was
plot-
Matt Smith is in it. Oh.
The plot and the setup is great. Everything it builds towards is great, but actually, once things start getting going is where it gets rough. So yeah, that's kind of my stance on it. I still don't think it's as good as, the first Venom, but honestly, I think I would still watch it over Venom 2, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had a good time watching it, though.
Yeah, it was a fine time. So... In my tweet, I mentioned that, I grew up on Buffy and Angel, which is, the cheesiest of cheesiest vampire stuff. So, I don't know. I was fine with it, but by no means is it a great movie at all. But also, it's, when it won the box office this weekend, and I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Means there's
What
nothing
else
else to
on the box
watch.
office?
That's true.
Yeah. What else is out there?
Next week
people
it'll lose,
were-
though.
I think
Sonic, right?
Sonic and Ambulance are coming out next week.
Oh, for sure. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lot of people have talked about Morbius online. That could just be part of it. Is people are saying it's really bad, and so everyone's like, "Oh, well, how
So-
bad is it? I got nothing to do. I'll go see." I'll go
So
watch it."
Yeah,
the
that's true.
the other
It's
thing
Marvel.
I won't spoil is that I feel like the real talk is the post credit stuff because it is straight up confusing now. It's what were you guys doing?
Yes. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I can't confirm this, but the character that appears in the end credit scene, it sounds like it's voiced by another person trying to be that character.
Really? Wow.
To me, at least.
I didn't notice that.
It sounded like...
Talking about-
Or that person just recorded in a sound booth, and that's why it sounded weird, but it
Probably.
didn't sound like him. I shouldn't even said him, but,
Yeah. I mean, people probably know who we're talking about because of that trailer. But that scene was not even in the movie that they put in the trailer. So
Well, there's a bunch of stuff in the trailer that wasn't in the movie. It makes no sense.
yeah, so another big problem of this movie, which I think a lot of people are saying, is that there was so many reshoots that it messed this movie up pretty bad. It could have been better.
I want to rip this movie apart.
Please.
Firstly,
Do it. Go ahead.
I want to hear it.
Firstly, I feel really bad for Jared Leto because he's a really good actor that is just never given good writing, and I don't understand
It's not really a good.
why.
Person,
Do what?
though. I say he's not really a good person, so I don't really feel bad.
No, I mean okay, that's yeah. I don't know much about that. I've seen his acting in a lot of stuff, and I'm like, wow, you're he's a really good actor. But the Joker, for instance, I didn't mind his Joker.
Yeah.
That was too
But
much.
I think how much of that design and the dialogue and stuff, none of that's really his. I think if they were to have given him a more comic accurate or even I think cartoon accurate, honestly, would be the best way to do a Joker. I think he would have nailed it. But he's never given that opportunity. And then in this movie, it's just I think he was allowed to kind of act more like a normal human.
And honestly, that's what I liked about it is he actually felt even though it turns out he was still using crutches to go to the restroom while filming.
Yeah.
That thing that IGN posted, it's oh well, you can wheelchair me if you want to go faster. I'd be like, hell no. If I was on the production crew, I'm sorry, hell is probably a derogatory term in the circle, but I'm just no. If I was on the production crew, I'm no, you're walking up yourself. I'm not doing that. So,
yeah.
But honestly, it does feel like they let him be a bit more normal than some of his roles lately.
Right. It didn't seem like he was trying too hard by any means. I
Yes.
think he did a really good job with what he was given. I think that it has one of the problems that the Hulk does, and I thought that was funny because they referenced the Hulk like this, in really cheesy
that was
Easter
bad.
egg one-liners.
That was bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
The lines that they did were like, I'm like, nope.
Like, he turns around and does his face. That's the other one. And it's like the exact same face the Hulk makes to Black Widow in Avengers. And I was like, I get it. Okay, you got this thing that you don't want to be. But one of the reasons the Hulk movie did so poorly, the first one with Edward Norton, was that the entire time you're wanting to watch a movie about the Hulk, and the main character is doing everything he can to not show you that.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go, well, I don't like it then. Like, I'm here to watch this thing happen. Ending.
Go for it.
Not to give too much away, but I don't think it really matters that much. I don't think it's a key spoiler thing. He doesn't want, like I just mentioned, he doesn't want to be a blood-sucking vampire, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it. But by the end of the movie, they just kind of throw that away out of nowhere. Like, he's real passionate about not being this vampire, and then all of a sudden he's like, no, it's cool. I'm going to live with the
Vampire.
So
I'm gonna be a
there's
vampire.
a lot to it in the comics. So like in the comic they portray him like he's an addict, like he's a struggling addict, and
Yeah.
even then, like, honestly, he's a bad guy for a long time until he actually encounters Ghost Rider, and basically Ghost Rider says like, hey, like, if you want to live, like, because Morbius would rather, for a long time, he's like, well, I just want to die, like, I don't, if that's how it's going to be. But then he encounters Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider tells him, he's like, well, hey, if you are going to live, you need to do something about this, because I'm going to come for you, like, if you keep going this way. And so it's interesting, because that's when he became like the anti-hero living vampire thing. So it's just that the way that movie portrays and deals with the idea of him being a vampire is like, you can't really go further than what they were trying to do. Like,
he's just super flip-floppy about it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, whatever. Matt Smith's character, I liked Matt Smith, but I liked the Doctor, and so he was kind of just the Doctor in it. And I was like, he doesn't do a lot. He's gonna be in the new Game of Thrones thing, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
He was in a Terminator movie. So I don't know. That was like the stakes for the movie weren't very high. It was just that he was the villain was going on a rampage, and it's like, okay,
stakes.
Stakes, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like the twist was really obvious. The setup was really obvious. And then I think, like I said, the stakes were just meh. Okay, and then it ended so quickly too. I feel like there was like the climactic end was just kind of,
it's a mess.
And it's done.
Like I said, the build-up and everything I thought was fine up until they started getting going, and then that's when I feel like they really dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm. I wish that, in a perfect world, Sony would have just kind of let Marvel do everything. I think, granted, we probably wouldn't have gotten a Morbius movie if that was the case.
They need to stop.
Yeah.
Like before it gets
a cinematic
worse.
universe that I don't care about.
Yep.
And then
Cinematic universes are always good.
Gosh.
Said no one.
So, and the thing that's already frustrating me is they're talking about all this Madam Web stuff, and I'm just like, no. They need to get away from all that. Yep.
I was gonna say more about it. It's not a good movie. I think they're really focused on trying to set something up that just doesn't matter. I would have much rather Sony giving Disney more control and just splitting profits however they're going to split it.
Yeah.
And then if we could have seen this Morbius with Blade, I think that would have been a lot of fun. There's no way that Disney is letting Morbius anywhere near Blade after this movie. That's unfortunate.
Actually, I think Wesley Snipes, or not Wesley Snipes, or maybe the new actor, Marshall Ali. I don't know if he'd probably kill Jared Leto. Like he'd want to choke him out by the time they got done filming. At least Denzel Washington probably felt the same way. But yeah, no.
That's where I'll end it. I like Transformers 2, and this movie was bad. It takes a lot for me not to like a movie.
It's pretty rough.
I said to the podcast team, I think a lot of people made this joke, but I loved it. I'm like, good thing Morbius came out on April 1st because the movie was a joke.
So I saw this. I saw this meme. I should have sent it to you guys, but it's that scene with Goku and Vegeta where Goku's like, "Let's fight somewhere more empty where there's like no population, so we don't like hurt anybody." And then it's them photoshopped in a movie theater with Morbius in the background. I'm just like, oof. Oof. But also it didn't land for me because I'm like, well, somehow the movie still made money. So I'm like, it's a funny joke, but people went to see it. So
I think too a big problem, and I'll get off it after this, but like the trailer promised so much. Like there were 3 different Spider-Man references in that trailer. We had no idea what was going on.
And even the director was like, that wasn't me. Like, I don't know.
I had no idea what they were doing.
I was like,
what? Like, if the director says, "Oh, that's not me," or "I don't know anything about that," I'd be like, "Okay, that's a problem."
Yeah, this is for those of you that may watch it just to figure out what universe this is in, because you just want to know, which Spider-Man is there. I will spoil this for you because I think you want to know. Because I would have wanted to know. It's not. You don't have to worry about it because there are no Spider-Man appearing in this movie. There might be a Spider-Man in this universe. But you don't even see a mural. Yeah, it's not.
It's like they just threw a dart. They just threw a dart at the board and was like, "That's what we're gonna do." Like,
that's what I was excited for with this. I was like, I'm not really excited for Morbius, but I want to know which Spider-Man universe this is.
Oh, see,
they had like 3 different references.
I didn't even need the connections because I wasn't there for the connections.
That's the only thing I had going, and I didn't even get that. So
yeah. I wasn't even going to go see it, but I was like, I have a free Saturday evening and Fandango cash, so I'm going to go.
I will say it's in the Venomverse if anyone cares about that.
Yeah.
We know that for sure. From the trailer. That was something that was in the trailer that was actually somehow made it into the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that had to be like, intentionally marketed too. They're just like, listen guys, like this is the next, like we are making this whole like Spider-Man villain universe, and this is the next iteration, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the advertising. I don't think they ever. It's whereas the Batman, they made a point of like, this is separate, this is not connected, this is just a standalone movie, and it was awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
Agreed. Shelley, on a brighter note, what did you watch?
So I didn't watch anything new per se, but I watched a movie that I didn't watch. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but it's just so good. It's my husband's second favorite movie, first being Return of the King. It's The Count of Monte Cristo, 2002 version.
That's a good one.
And that movie is so good. Like, if you haven't seen The Count of Monte Cristo, I highly recommend it. It's such an awesome... Well, it's based off a book, and I don't think it's actually that accurate to the book. I think they changed some things to make it a little bit more movie-friendly, if that makes sense. But I mean, I haven't read the book, so I'm not upset about it. I really like it. I don't really even know how to, like, it's just about this guy who, doesn't really do anything wrong, but just ends up in a bad place, and basically him learning how to get out of that bad place, then come out on top to, like, basically get, like, revenge on his enemies and things like that. It's very cool. Has a lot of very cool, sort of, like, God moments, I would say, too. Like, it's not necessarily a Christian movie, but it is very much like there's like a very, very important character who's a priest and does priestly things, I suppose. He's very cool. It's actually the actor for the original Dumbledore.
Yep.
I forget his name.
Oh, cool.
He's in it. So
that's a good movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
It's so good. Like, it's so fun to watch with people who have never seen it before as well. Because last time I watched it was my first time watching it, and it was my husband showing me, and he's like, "Oh, it's so fun to like show this to people who've never seen it before." Because there's just so many things that, like, especially after you've seen the movie and you like go back and you're just like, "Oh, this information," or like, "Oh, this thing," but then it's like the people you're watching with, like, obviously they don't know that, so it's like very fun to see like their reactions. I don't want to like say much more because of spoilers, but I highly recommend checking it out. There are a couple different versions. I think the 2002 version is the most recent, but it's the one that I really like.
There's like an old black and white version as well.
Yeah, from like.
That's the one.
60s.
That's the one that V's watching in V for Vendetta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But no, it's really good. Very fun, awesome. We were like, because we were having a movie night, and we were actually gonna watch Dune, and then we decided to save Dune for another day, and watch this instead. So very
cool.
good, very fun. I don't really know what more to say about it though. It's just it's just a good movie.
Cool.
Well, we'll get on TV again. Before we do that, leave a comment, and you can win a T-shirt. Of course, if you're listening to this on the podcast app.
They're so soft.
They're amazing, and it's free. Yeah, they are super, super soft. You can't tell by looking at them, but they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll get into TV then.
Yeah.
I'll try not to dwell too long on television. Did we all see Moon Knight?
Yep.
I think so.
Cool. Initial thoughts, I liked it, but I wish I would have waited an episode. I feel like that happens to me with all Marvel's Disney Plus stuff so far, as I would have rathered one more episode before like jumping into it.
I think what
they don't know enough yet.
I think what they did was absolutely perfect. We're not supposed to know anything. Like we're really not.
Yeah, I know. It was artistic, and it was like this is his point of view.
Knowing like having read some Moon Knight like a little bit, I think it's totally awesome that like we still don't know what the heck is going on yet.
I like the way that they're portraying multiple personalities and stuff. I think that's really cool.
A lot of cool like reflective shots and things like that. Like the cinematography is on point, straight up.
Oh my gosh, the cinematography! So many cool shots. There were so many cool shots. I was like, this is incredible. Whoever the cinematographer is on this deserves a raise, because it didn't feel. I think that's why I'm liking this so much. I've literally only seen one episode, and I feel like it's already like if it continues and. Granted, I don't really trust Marvel. It may not continue to be very good. It might go downhill. But if it goes uphill, if it continues to be really cool, like this first episode, which again, I don't know if it will, but it would be probably my favorite Marvel show. Because I feel like that's the strongest reaction I've gotten from
no
the
name
first
drops
episode
or anything, no Easter eggs to tell us what time frame it's in. Like, we have no idea pre-snap or post-snap.
Which is why Oscar Isaac took the job.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. It doesn't feel like a Marvel show because they haven't referenced anything. They haven't everything is very separated from what I could tell so far.
I love it. Yeah.
It really that's what I mean. Like it doesn't feel like Marvel, and that's a good thing to me. Like it feels.
I do think we're gonna get Mark Ruffalo at some point.
In Moon Knight?
It's going to eventually feel like Marvel.
There's got to be something. There's got to be just a little bread.
There were rumors of him being in London, I think, when they were filming Mark Ruffalo, and looking at the mirror stuff where he's talking to himself to his different personalities, feels very Hulkish.
Hulk as hey.
I could see Bruce Banner being kind of a mentor or kind of somebody that he could confide in for that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I'm sure it'd be like a cameo kind of
my
situation,
favorite,
maybe an episode thing, but Oscar Isaac, that was a big
my favorite line in that whole thing.
I was just gonna say, Oscar Isaac, so good. It was like one of those things where it's like, I really loved Oscar Isaac in the Star Wars, but it wasn't because of the writing.
No.
The writing for him was bad. He was a bad character.
Oscar
Isaac really went above and beyond to try to make him a cool, interesting character despite the terrible writing.
Fox and Disney did not do Oscar Isaac justice with Apocalypse and Poe. They really didn't.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah.
And now this show, I feel like he's really being able to stretch and flex his acting skills because, when he does, the, British accent versus the non-British accent and versus, just the different... he's such a good actor, and it's so fun to watch. He looks like he's having fun while doing this.
I feel like Khonshu is going to be my favorite character in the whole thing. I love his lines in that, and he's like, "Oh no, the idiot's in control." I was like, that was my favorite line in the whole thing.
He literally sounds like Venom. I know.
Yeah, everybody with that. The idiot's back again.
He literally sounds the same. He sounds like, he's not the same person, but he sounds like a person. It just has the same energy.
I'm definitely excited to see more of the show.
Me too. I was it was halfway through the episode, and I was telling Daniel, I'm I already want to see the next episode. This episode isn't even done yet. I already want to keep watching. But again, I don't know if I trust Marvel enough to keep this high. I'm a little bit worried it's gonna just tank, but I really hope it doesn't.
I think they'll do a good job. I think the actors that they have for it, it's Ethan Hawke as the villain, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even his character is going to be awesome, I think.
Yeah,
like there's
all that stuff.
intricacies between the characters. I think is really cool. Yeah, I don't know, love it, good stuff. I also watched Walking Dead's second season finale of 3. I don't know what to call it. They called it a mid-season finale, but it's
finales have there been already?
part 2 of this final season. And it was good. I mean, I like it because I like Walking Dead, but they've got another third of a season to finish up this entire story, and I don't feel like they're going to. I think it's going to finish up this story arc that they got going on, but I don't think it's going to be a series.
Everybody spit into your own shows now.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yep.
I think all the spin-offs, they're not worried about making a series finale, and so this is just something that'll never end. And that's unfortunate, because Walking Dead multiple times have really cool goals that they were trying to work towards, and then because they wanted to continue doing what they're doing, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer, but still good stuff. I mean, there's stuff that's getting tied together that's a lot of fun from previous seasons. It's just kind of I'm like, are you gonna end on a good note or not?
Right.
So far, I don't think they are, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
LJ, did you watch anything else?
I've just been trying to watch One Piece again, which I'm waiting for the dub to come to Crunchyroll because I know it's on Funimation still, but pretty soon Funimation's gonna be gone.
Yeah, true.
But I'm watching subbed right now, and I the more I get through it, I kind of find myself saying like, "Ooh, this show is actually pretty bingeable." So I'm still not really that far into it, but I'm gonna keep trying to watch it until I get bored, or until something else happens, or until I find another show that I'm gonna binge. But right now, I'm enjoying it. So that's about it.
Nice.
You watching anything else, Shelley?
Not on TV. Nope.
Cool. Well, we will again. You guys ask questions. We'll probably answer them more quickly now. But there were a few things I wanted to bring up, just kind of to remember Geeks Under Grace through the ages, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find where we were discussing them earlier. I think I have answers for most of these. It's kind of hard to remember though. 6 or 7 years, I don't remember when we started. It's hard to remember that much history, and so I kind of feel like everything that I have for answers are stuff that's been relatively
fairly recent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to remember.
Yeah, I remember talking about Dune before Dune was out.
There's so much.
It's always fun. I think that's one of my favorite parts of how we've been going for so long is when news kind of comes back around.
Yes.
There's this announcement, but then it's like,
oh, remember that?
Now it's finally filming. Now it's finally in theaters. Now we finally watch it. So it kind of comes full circle.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So the first, I'm pulling up our app here to see just how many downloads we get. Oh wait, I'll look at these numbers in a minute. Share. But the first one that I wanted to ask, first question, was what is your favorite moment of the podcast? My favorite moment, I feel kind of bad about this, but still, it is relatively. LJ's right with.
I think I know what you're saying. I think I know what you're going to say.
He knows exactly.
Oh no! I was thinking of.
No?
Hey.
That's not the one I was thinking of.
That's your favorite?
We just scrambled everything you were trying to say. And,
Shelley was about to rage quit the podcast episode. Absolutely. Right there. She was going to log off.
I don't know. Shelley had a really well thought out thesis on Hyrule Warriors.
Age of Calamity, yeah.
Calamity. A certain little robot that's fairly egg-shaped.
And me and LJ just went off. So usually when I'm talking to podcast people who've never listened to it before, I say we really like puns. And so that's always where my mind goes. So again, sorry, Shelley, but it was amazing. Um,
Oh, hey, look, Joe's here.
oh yeah,
Former podcast member.
awesome.
Joe!
What is this? Hey Joe.
Joe!
Joe, if you would, just like if you want to kind of like leave your favorite moment of the podcast,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. If you want to answer these, for those who don't know, Joe Morgan, this podcast wouldn't be here without him. He was gaming. LJ has taken that place.
Yeah.
But we love you, Joe. And yeah, episode 300. Can you believe it?
I
All right, LJ. I guess we're not on the same page. What was your favorite moment?
Well, I don't
of,
know about
years podcast?
favorite, but it was definitely brought on by me. It was still when we played Ruby during that pledge drive, and we were all like super tired, and I'm like, we're almost done, and then like
we're almost done.
I thought
we're all like dying.
we're all tired. It was super late.
Game, but we were like,
It was yeah. I mean, we finished it. I just remember it not being as long as it was because the environments blended together so much. But
like, I swear.
oh,
like,
that was a good one.
And
And
like,
I said
are you
that
sure?
like 3 times, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
Like, just one more level.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Oh, so Joe says when we got to meet each other at PAX. So I'll tell you one of my favorite memories about that actually. Is when I got off the airplane when we were in San Antonio, and you guys were waiting for me, and I was looking around for you guys, and I just hear Cody's laugh, and I'm like, that's where they are. And I look over, and there you guys are. I was like, that was amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fire roasted biscuits at Shelley's house. Joe says that was when y'all
Yes.
went to PAX West, and then I went the year after.
I still haven't done that at home, and I've wanted to.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
worth it.
Yeah.
Always worth it. It's so yummy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. Good times.
This is. I'll throw this one out there. The podcast. I can't find listens. I can just find downloads, but we've gotten
Yeah.
76,000 downloads.
Yep.
Since we started.
And we get anywhere from like 90 to 120 something a week most of the time.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
It's hype.
Cool.
Joe says, what are those things called?
Wop wops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wop wops. They're delicious. Shelley, what was your favorite moment over the last?
Say, Joe, remind me. Yeah, like I can't think of a particular moment. Just like all the times we've hung out for PAX, has always been fun. Anytime, whether that be in Seattle or in San Antonio. That or again, because I can't think of like specific moments. So like any of those times, or anytime we're playing Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Ooh, Ultimate Chicken
Yes.
Horse is great.
Always
I
good.
love.
Again, I can't think of any particular time.
I
but,
love
like,
Ultimate
that's
Chicken
always
Horse.
So fun.
Yeah.
True.
just
And it's like usually us 3 and like one other person, or sometimes, but it's like
yeah, like
even
yeah.
like I know we ditched speedrunners a couple years ago, but we still make sure to play Ultimate Chicken Horse. That's a certified classic.
Quality.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
The other question that I wanted to ask everyone, I think this is going to be kind of a harder one to answer, but how has the podcast impacted us? And I also want to kind of like expand that into not just like the podcast, but how have you changed, I guess, or grown in the last 6 years? I mean, we have come like so it's such a like long amount of time.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
a totally different person than when we started.
Oh, definitely. Me too.
Yeah, I guess I can go first. I'm gonna give you guys some time.
Yeah.
I guess podcast impacted me personally. LJ made me realize this actually pretty recently. It was we were looking at the spoilers for No Way Home,
Yeah.
and you're like, we already know everything, and I was like, we only know everything because we were so heavily invested for the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
That is
I've
true.
really become kind of this Marvel, like anyone can come to me and ask me, and I'll have like 5 different theories for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know like the rumors, and I just have this like weird well of knowledge now about Marvel, and that's because of the podcast. There's no way that hasn't shaped who I am. not just Marvel, but just I think like I've always been kind of geeky. The podcast has definitely made like really kind of ingrained that into me a lot. And then for the faith side of things, I think I'm always looking through a lens of how does this preach, I guess, in a way. Whether I'm watching a movie or a video game, I'm like, what is the Christian message in this? Which is not something that I really did until I joined Geeks Under Grace, and realized that was something that you could do. I'm constantly doing that, which is really cool. As far as outside of the podcast, I don't know. This podcast has seen me change quite a bit. Like, I was this chubby kid, and then I got really thin, grew a beard. I look totally different than I did when we started. I moved to Arkansas.
That's a big one. That's a really big one.
Lives in Arkansas. He lived in Fort Smith for a while.
And then he moved like 3 months after.
Yeah. Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
He was here long enough for me to like. Feel like I don't know. I'm really really grateful, Joe. I'm really glad that you're here watching. Try not to make you cry. I'm really grateful because I'm really happy here in Arkansas. It's been a really long journey, and there are things that I've gotten to do that I wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't moved here. There are people in my life that I wouldn't have met, and who's the Viking? Yeah, if you hadn't seen me in a while, it's very different.
Because Cody, what you were saying about like your appearance, I remember with the old Geeks Under Grace logo, and everyone thought that was you. Like if you were to compare the two,
that was the running joke.
You don't look like that at all anymore. Your hair is totally different. The beard is unmistakable. Like you have to include that. So.
and that's
a lot of people thought that the old logo was me, and I had to always explain to people that they had no idea who I was when they designed it.
That's just a generic stock logo that was modified, basically.
I just fit the bit really well. Unfortunately, Joe and I don't really talk as much as we probably should. I'm very ADHD, and I'm learning that that's an out of sight, out of mind thing that I tend to do. I call my parents on like holidays, and that's it. So don't feel bad, Joe. It's not you, it's me. But yeah, we should definitely hang out sometime. It would be awesome. I don't know. I gotten to visit Denver, where I'm from. Where I spent 7 years before this, twice now in the last year, and when I was living in Denver, I couldn't afford to go downtown, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, my lots changed. It's been good.
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff. I've grown in my faith a lot. I think I've become, I guess, more comfortable in my faith, and like, not in the negative way of like you should never be comfortable. You should always be like stretching out your bounds. But I think that like more confident, I guess, is a better word in my faith. Yeah, I'm in my church, a lot more involved in my church than I was, and that is really good. And been really awesome. I don't know. It's good, and I think the podcast and just Geeks Under Grace in general has been a big part of that for me. We'll see with LJ. Go ahead, LJ.
Yeah. So honestly, the podcast and just maybe Geeks Under Grace overall, it's really impacted. Like, people don't understand what I do necessarily, but they know I'm good at what I do. Like, or at least like I'm into what I do. So like for a long time, because of like streaming and stuff, at one point when they needed people to moderate the online services at my church, they're like, "Oh, LJ does that, I think." So they're like, "Hey, do you want to moderate our online services for every other week?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's really cool." Like, literally the executive director was like, "I really don't fully understand it, but I know that this is something you do." So and it really, like, the things I've done with Geeks Under Grace and through podcasting have impacted me in my work environment, especially like when I went to the UPS store to go work at the UPS store recently from the church. My boss was like, he saw on my resume that I didn't have a ton of customer service, but he's like, "Oh, That guy's got moderate Photoshop skills. He can be my print guy. That guy manages social media accounts. He could help me do my social media. That guy, you know, he could do my sales. Like he's on a board of directors. You know, like, and even so, like for me, and honestly, I'll give credit to Joel's here, but also Patrick Ryan, our original OG producer. We started a podcast around the same time y'all started called the Original Gamers Podcast. And the reason I'm here podcasting with y'all and producing the podcast is because there was a few weeks where he needed a fill in, and when he parted ways, that's how I got here. And from then on, more and more. So it's like, and a lot of this stuff I just learned by Googling. Like I'm just like I didn't go to school for any of this stuff. Like I learned how to do it, and I just Googled stuff and figured out how to do it. So it's just kind of interesting how how that worked out that way, but. It's really like, and that's what I kind of told my boss. I'm like, I didn't go to school for any of this stuff. So it's just interesting, like how it's impacted like my work life a lot. So
cool.
Yeah, that's
what
I got.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shelley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My life's changed a lot since I started on the podcast. I think I started on the podcast. I don't remember if I had graduated from high school or not.
I don't think so.
You had just started college, I believe.
Or yeah, it was one of the two. Because I think I started in high school senior year on the Twitch team, and then I think maybe the year after that, when my first year of college, I was on the podcast. But anyway, since then I graduated college. I got married. I don't know. Am a professional now in like IT. I was just a student before, and like I'm living on my own, which I wasn't before. So really, my whole life is like incredibly different than it was before. But it's been really cool how this really has been like a very good, like sort of consistent thing that I can sort of like come back to, and just like be able to, you know, hang out, right? Like I'm grateful we have so much fun like when we record and are able to just kind of talk about what we want to talk about, or things we don't want to talk about, you know, like any sort of news that comes up where we're just like, really, they're doing this thing that's so dumb. But it's always like fun to just like, I don't know, just on a pretty regular weekly cadence be able to come back and just sort of like sit down and sort of, you know, reflect a little bit. Reflect like, oh, you know, what have I been doing this last week, and oh, what is something that I'm excited about for the future? And oh, what do I think about this movie I saw, or this, you know, video game? Like, I think I don't review for Geeks Under Grace, but I think I've become someone who people like trust the opinion of because of the way I've been able to articulate myself with this podcast. What was funny, I would say maybe a month or two ago, I was at a Smash tournament, and someone saw I bought new third-party Joy-Cons for my Switch because I wanted not only ones that didn't drift, but also I just wanted new ones that like fit better, and that sort of thing. So I got that, and I also had Pokemon Legends Arceus that I was playing. So I went to the Smash tournament, and I met up with my friends, and he was just like, oh my gosh, like I have been looking for new Joy-Cons. What do you think about these? And I was just able to be like, well, the pros, here's the cons, here what like here's what you need to consider. And then he's like, oh, what are you playing right now? And I'm just like, oh, I'm playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. He's like, you know, I was thinking about it. Like, what do you think about this game? I'm just like, you know, and I'm not like, literally, I'm not trying to sell this thing.
You're just articulating your thoughts.
And articulating my thoughts in a very thorough way.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you know what, Shelley? Like, you should be like a salesperson because you convinced me to buy 2 products today. And I'm just like, wasn't the intention, but like, I take that as a compliment, I guess. I just feel like I've been able to, just be able to articulate how I feel about something and sort of back up why. So a very sort of practical takeaway from the podcast, I think, that I think is really cool. I've also been able to sort of take this into the Smash community a little bit too. Like I've had people reach out to me, say like, hey, like, because I have, of course, on like my Twitter, right? I'm like, hey, I work for Geeks Under Grace. I do podcasts. I Twitch stream, and I'm pretty open about that. And if anyone like asks me about it, I'm very open about that. I think it's helped me just being a part of Geeks Under Grace. Also, just being like, yeah, I'm a Christian, and I'm also into all this geeky stuff, and I like to play Smash competitively and that sort of thing. So it's been really cool when I've had people come up to me and they'll be like, hey, like, I noticed like you work for this website. Like, can you tell me more about that? Like, I'm curious. Like, what does this mean?
It helps start the conversation.
Exactly, and it's been really cool that I've been able to find other Christians within the local Smash community. The Smash communities in general, at least especially in this area of the country, very, very atheist, very much not trusting of religion, not trusting of Christianity especially. So it's been really cool that people can kind of come up to me and sort of say like, oh yeah, like we sort of have similar beliefs, or even those who don't can come up to me and ask me about it, and I'm able to sort of tell them like, hey, well, this is kind of what we're doing, and I think it's really cool. So that's all really awesome. I think, yeah, like Cody, like you, I think it's helped me be more confident in my faith, just in general, of being able to talk about it to other people, like outside
definitely.
church, for example, in a way that used to be very much like a, here's the theology I believe, here's the exact way I interpret things, and that to turning to, well, I believe this, and I can, have conversations with people who are Christian.
Yeah,
and people who are just, gamers.
All of this has really helped my social skills and helped me break out of a shell that I used to have. Like, that's another thing too.
Yep. Shelley, I feel like I almost feel like we watched you grow up. I know it was like at a high school, college.
Yeah.
But...
well, that's what I was that's what I was reflecting on too. It's like when I went to visit a year later, like I think you and Daniel were like barely like dating, or y'all had like, and so like it's just really cool to see like where we've all evolved, and then Cody got more Viking like, and but like we've all evolved in our own ways since we started this thing. So it's just exciting to reflect on that. Like it's like wow.
Yeah, and then LJ too. For you, I remember when we started the podcast. One thing that I really loved took a minute, but really like. Our podcast when we started sounded rough. Those who don't know, sound quality was not there. Right now, I haven't listened to a GameScoop in a bit, but there was at least a time where we sounded better than GameScoop.
Ooh, yeah.
That felt really good.
Because a lot of other sites and organizations had to figure out how to do this stuff over the internet when COVID happened. But that's another thing, is we were already there before COVID even happened, so we didn't have to make a transition.
Really changed.
Yeah, we
didn't. Wasn't a lot of adapting for us.
Yeah, we didn't have to make a transition.
But it's been really cool, LJ, to watch you kind of go from just, this copy-paste, the, Audacity files to, like, you're really sound mixing and making it sound great. And, 100%. We wouldn't sound as high quality as we do if it weren't for you.
He's the guy. LJ is the guy.
The guy in the chair.
Yeah. That's another memory. I'll throw this out there. This popped in my head.
What is it? Like, you can't take the guy out. I forget there was a line that Ned said in No Way Home where I'm like, you can't take the guy out of the chair, or the chair away from the guy, or something like that. Oh, yeah.
Sounds like Ned.
Yeah.
There was an episode. I don't know, LJ, if you were mixing at the time or not, but someone had commented and asked us about sound quality. And they were like, how do you make a podcast sound so good? And then we had to use a backup file. And even our backup files, LJ, you make sound good now.
Yeah.
But at the time, a backup file was a backup file, and it was rough.
Yep.
And so we're telling this guy how to make a podcast do well, sound good.
Yeah.
And it was like super tinny and terrible.
And it's cool because also doing this has also spawned. We had my buddy Caleb on as a guest this week when you had your stint where you were gone for like a month. I like that dude is making content and podcast and streaming now because people like me have been out there. Like we're really tight, but that inspired him to go like, hey, like, how do I do this? Or, what do I need to do? And so like you said, I've been able to give people advice on those things. Like, oh, what do I need to stream? What do I do to need a podcast? Or, like things like that, or, and it's been really cool to be able to give that advice. It's exciting.
The other question, I feel like we're all probably going to have a close to the same answer to this, but I just wanted to humble brag. So I was going to make it a question, not just blurt it out. But most impressive prediction, I'm still real proud of us saying way before it happened that streaming companies were going to make packages.
Yeah.
Because it's totally a thing now.
Package deals now, yeah.
And we saw that years ago.
Yep.
Like probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a podcast episode up there.
Yeah.
Are there any other predictions that you guys could think of that were like? I mean, that was to me. I was just like, well done.
I don't know.
I mean, I think about how early Far From Home news, and we were just like, oh, this actor's in it? Oh, it's going to be this huge crossover thing.
Yep.
And, like, granted, that became very clear very quickly.
It was the worst kept secret for a long time, but yeah.
But we did
we
kind
were
of
there right at the beginning. When it was still kind of, like, not confirmed. It was like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. They're going to do this huge...
And to see those things, like, a lot of that come to fruition and stuff like that. And even the stuff that I was like, there's no way this is going to happen, happened.
Yeah.
I'll say Shelley's understanding of how bad shared universes were going to be.
Oh my gosh.
You probably had that pretty early on before it was...
over here.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had kind of seen... I think Batman vs. Superman had been out by that point.
Yep.
So we had seen DC kind of fail at it, but you were like, everyone's going to start doing this, and it's going to be terrible. Because Marvel's already done it and they did it well, and so nothing's gonna like.
So, in a way, like we don't really prepare a lot of things, but I don't know if it's predictions, but I think of like story arcs, and like as far as like the news pieces, like watching MoviePass crumble and then watching Quibi like come and go, and Quibi, things like that.
Yeah, the Quibi area of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We talk about Quibi, like,
but there's things like that we've seen come and go, and it's just funny how a lot of those stuff, we create a narrative. There's narratives that have been built around our podcast and those news pieces. Like. True.
Yeah, I mean, with Quibi, we're like, I don't see how this is going to work. And then it was like, oh, it's not. Nope. Okay, that's why. Got it.
Like, what is Quibi? Like, that was the running joke I tried to do all the time. I was like, what is even Quibi? Like, what is it?
MoviePass, I remember us being really hesitant about, and then...
Which now, apparently, they're trying to rise from the dead through NFTs, somehow, I heard, so...
NFTs,
okay, but NFTs are
dead. Yeah. But still, though, like, it's just funny... Like, when I shared that screenshot the other day of MoviePass changing their profile picture on Facebook, I go, no, don't do it.
On the flip side of that, craziest news stories we've covered.
Yeah.
I think the most shocking to me would have been Fox and Disney.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That was a huge moment for the podcast.
Yeah, that's a really big one. Because that was another thing that had rumors and like scuttlebutt going around, and and it finally was a thing. I guess like whoa.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got a couple comments here. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean,
no questions. If you guys want to leave any questions, we're probably gonna be finished up pretty soon.
Yeah,
so
I would say
questions.
Yeah, we'll answer some questions live. If y'all got any dumb fun questions or anything like super serious, like any like questions that want to make us think, like go for it and
ask us anything.
Yeah, AMA time.
We'll try to answer those. Another big one I think would have been Xbox and Blizzard.
That was a huge one.
Pretty shocking.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll sit on here a little bit longer, try to find some questions. Oh, we got a couple. Ooh, new commenter has entered the arena for these T-shirts. Again, if you comment, you can literally comment exclamation point, like LJ said.
Yep.
Get a chance to win one of these T-shirts. We're giving away 3 of them for episode 300. We'll go in order here.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other big news stories that were really shocking to you?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I always popped off with every like new Smash character announcement, but that's not necessarily like big news. It was more just like
Banjo-Kazooie. That was huge.
Oh yeah, Banjo. That was nuts. Oh wow.
I don't know if you call that a prediction. It was more of a wish from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, did I wish real hard.
We've definitely somehow willed Earthworm Jim back into existence.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
All right. Well, let's start from the top here. Marvel or DC? Easily for me, it's Marvel live action, DC animated.
Yeah.
Although not recently.
Overall, I gotta say Marvel. I guess there's a lot I still like about DC as well, but I grew up on Marvel since the early days of Saturday morning cartoons and things like that. Like, it's Marvel for me, straight up.
Justice League Dark was really good, and then that whole like thing, and now it's over, and they're making weird Archer style animations, and I hate it. Shelley, Marvel or DC?
Overall, yeah, Marvel. But I think the whole I haven't even seen much anime DC, but like Teen Titans enough is like enough to make me go like yes, DC animated. Just even that.
Quit while you're ahead. Yeah, there you go. Don't blame me.
I think if Kevin Feige had like done DC instead of Marvel, I probably would have. There's an
alternate timeline somewhere where Kevin Feige's working for DC. Then
I mean, if it all would have like worked together and they would have done not such a bad job on it all.
Yeah.
Like I do like the Snyder Cut, but Snyder Cut is not what I wanted out of DC's like plan. I wanted Marvel, but Marvel had already done it. They're like, we can't do the same thing, and so they didn't. And I think they would have. I probably would have liked it. Anyways, Marvel is shaped. I've been watching Marvel movies since I was 12 years old, I think. So pretty crazy.
That's the other thing too. Really kind of. I also kind of grew up more with Marvel than DC overall, except with the exception of Teen Titans.
Yeah, Teen Titans, so good.
Yeah.
Most anticipated game of 2022. I think for me, I just didn't buy for
Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
A lot of the games I wanted to play are already coming out. I think Hogwarts Legacy for me at this point.
Oh, you know what? That's my answer too. I was gonna say, I'm like, what? 2022 games?
There's still games we don't even know about that are probably gonna come out, but I think Hogwarts Legacy for me.
I'm still gonna play Kirby eventually. It's out and I don't have it, and I'm like, well, I gotta do these other games first. But I think Hogwarts Legacy, I like popped off so hard watching Pet Direct. I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
I need to play Forbidden West. I'm excited for it, and
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like, how did they get so many good games lined up for 2022? And like first half.
It's been a pretty quiet season for a while, though.
Not this last few months. These last few months have been popping.
Yeah, I mean not the season, but like the season, like the years before last.
The fall was pretty quiet. Yeah.
2021 was kind of rough in general, I feel, and 2020 was like okay.
Yeah.
Hades was really good, and of course. By Royal was really good.
Oh yeah.
Last of Us 2, but yeah, overall.
Alrighty. Moving to the next question.
Yeah. I am getting names.
Okay, here, I'll go through these. Let's see.
Yeah,
let's see. Joe says, "Do you see the podcast going another 300 episodes?"
I hope so. I mean, that's 6 years, like we talked about. That's a long time.
I feel like I still could be.
I really want a episode 500.
Yeah, who knows? Life happens though. Life, to quote Jurassic Park, life finds a way. So you never know. You really never know.
That is very true as well.
My hope would be.
I will say I've got no intention of leaving.
Well, yeah, like my hope.
It would have to be
my hope. Not only my hope for the podcast, but my hope for the whole ministry is that we train up enough people to where one day we can we can happily just when that time does come to be like, you guys got this. Like, peace out later. Like
yeah.
To train up the next generation.
In that sense, I definitely think we'll have 600 episodes. It's just a question of whether we'll be in it or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 That's true. Yeah. I feel like this is something that could keep going.
Yeah.
I don't really think podcasts are, in general, slowing down that much.
Right.
I think that medium is still just kicking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Favorite episode? The egg puns episode.
Least favorite episode.
I don't know that I have a favorite episode. There's been so many.
No.
There's been there's 300 of them.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know
And I think that's. Any more questions? We'll wait on here for just.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I missed any, but I think we. Yeah, if y'all get any more dumb, fun questions, keep them rolling if you want.
While we're waiting, I'm super thankful to be at 300 episodes. It came up so quickly.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. I think it was at like episode 88. I was like, oh, we've got like
Yeah.
2 more episodes. We need to do something soon. And then it was just here, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then you were gone that whole month too, so it probably feels even shorter for you.
We don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That month was great.
That was a fun month. We had a month full of guests, and it was awesome. But
it was fun.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've thrown this into the podcast a few times, but episode 365. I don't know if we'll do anything for it, but I'm just really excited for the idea that someone could listen to a podcast like our podcast every single day for a year. Like it's just like in my mind is just mind blowing to me for some reason.
Yeah.
That we've talked that many times. And then the next milestone will be to do that, but for every hour of the day, and then you can just GUG all the time.
All the time.
What's your go-to Mario Kart character? Mario, because I'm conceited.
That's basic.
Which Mario
You're so
Kart?
basic.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoshi.
But I'm shadowing this new Sonic game.
Oh, there you go. For me, I don't know. Lately, it's been Dry Bones. I don't know why. It's so random, but I don't know why.
It's just my go-to. It's my Smash main. It's my
Yoshi,
character I go to for any Mario Party, any Mario Kart. I've just always been Yoshi. Even before I played Smash competitively, like I would always choose Yoshi.
I do like Link. I don't know if that counts.
See, that's what I meant. I was like, the newest one has like Link and Isabelle and Inkling. I'm like, those are fun to play. Grivas, it doesn't matter though. It's all aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Shelley and LJ and Joe.
Yeah. I'm so happy Joe
this podcast happened.
popped in here.
For those who don't know, I mean, we're kind of paying like out of pocket for this thing to happen at first. Like it's just kind of crazy that it survived, I guess.
Yeah.
Over the years, not that I thought Geeks Under Grace wouldn't survive, but just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast itself.
Yeah.
We had tried to do one before, and like it just, completely different people,
Mhm.
And it did okay, but it didn't have a lot of structure. It kind of fell apart really quickly. Everyone got burnt out.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think like that lasted maybe a month, and then this one lasted,
Yeah.
300 episodes.
I will say that part of the funds that people do give us keep our podcast going as well, because it's one yearly payment, and so that's just one thing we can point to and be like, hey, this is where your money's going, because we're out there being geeks and hopefully reaching some more, like by doing what we're doing.
Joe Morgan, I just want to put this on record in voice. Jeremy said, for the record, when I stepped down, I felt very much like I already messed it up. I very much felt like I was leaving things in capable hands. Y'all are doing an incredible job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to think. Thankful for you guys. Thankful for the listeners. For the 76,000 downloads.
For the
it's just
acquaintances
crazy.
and friends that I've made through being a part of Geeks Under Grace, it's been awesome. It really has.
It's always been interesting. My mom, I remember her when we started this. She was like, "So you just hang out with friends for an hour and talk about video games?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Or like,
me up, Mom.
or like when I went to visit some of you, like you guys, or like when I like went to go meet you guys for the first time and stuff. People would be like, "Is that weird? Just meeting random people?" And I'm like, "Well, they're not really random because I speak with them and I talk to them every week, like almost every day, practically. Like." So it's like not weird at all, but I mean, I could see how that would be weird to some people, but not for, it wasn't for me. So,
I guess the vision of everything when we made this podcast, it was to do video game news, movie news, and TV news through like a Christian lens. For those who don't know, we actually pray. We didn't pray in this podcast, but we
actually pray before
over almost every episode. We didn't have time today. We were getting
text
really
stuff
close.
at the last minute.
Yeah, it was very crackerjack timing.
Like an hour before, Shelley was like, "So what are we doing?"
I
was like, I don't know.
I literally closed my store on Mondays, and so we started streaming at 8 Central, and I got off work at 7:15. So
we usually pray, and our prayer is always, God gets glorified through this.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
even if we're not always like making spiritual connections or biblical connections every week, we hope at least somebody finds us and he's like, oh, people are Christians, and
I think a lot of the time too, we usually find a way to connect to the faith in some ways. Really cool.
Yeah, we definitely do as much as possible.
And like that's definitely the work of God, I think, and not us. That's really cool. And then also, I'm going to brag about this. I think that we are the best place to go best podcast to go for doing what we do. If you want to know about the things, well, it's weird. So I don't know. You'd have to tell me, listeners. For me, this is the podcast that I would want to get my news from because it's all the stuff that I care about.
Yeah, I will say I do know a few other podcasts of believers that do kind of some news-based stuff or that have like heavy spoiler discussions, and I'd say like we're definitely not the only ones there, but we're in good company, basically. We really hit a lot in a short time. There still isn't many out there like that. That's another thing I'll say. There's been so many content creators that have come out and are decided, hey, I want to do this too, even since Geeks Under Grace started. Like it's, there are podcasts out there that are doing what we do, but in their own flair and their own flavor that people also enjoy, which
I think like spoiler cast and stuff aside.
I mean, even news podcasts, there are people out there doing those, and it's just like, we're definitely not the only experts out there, but we are one of, we are
I think
definitely
we're doing fairly well.
Yeah. What I mean is like there's not many that are actually doing the daily news stuff and like trying to keep up with things every single week like we are. But among the ones that are out there, we are we're in good company for sure.
Right. You usually have to listen to a gaming podcast and then a movie podcast and a TV podcast. We kind of put it all together in one.
Yeah.
Better than some non-Christian sites too.
Yes, definitely.
Great. I'm grateful for that. I think that's really cool. I don't take credit for that. I mean, it's just we've been doing it for a long time.
Geeks Under Grace was one of the earliest organizations / content creators to be doing what we're doing, and it's amazing to see so many podcasts and so many other streams from people with the same goal as us.
I brought that up last week. Detroit Become Human had a survey.
Yep.
And it was, I can't remember the number, I think 35% said that 45% of people said that they believe in God, and then there was another 55 that didn't. It was mixed between not believing in God and then I don't know. But that's only 45%, and then that's in God, not in the Christian God specifically. So if you are out there doing any kind of ministry, again, I know I said it last week, but you are needed. I don't think there could be not enough of us out here doing this. So, all right, if there's no more questions, we will we'll get on out of here again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for 300 episodes, everybody.
We're going to announce the winners of the shirts?
Yes. Start now. That looks like an ad. 3 winners. Still looks like an ad. That is an ad. How dare they? All right, I put it in a random thing, so no one get mad. The names are out of 6. Hopefully, I got it all. Everyone. Joe, Jordan, and Kenan.
Yeah, congrats.
Yes. So I will.
On the planet. Congrats.
Yeah, amazing shirt, Joe. I know that you don't want a gray shirt or a purple shirt. You wanted to wait for a black one to come out, but you won one. It's free, so you might as well.
Give it to your wife if you don't want it.
There you go. Super soft. I will get these sent out as soon as possible.
That reminds me of the time whenever I did the giveaway on one of our pledge drives like last year, and then the winner of one of the main winners was my buddy Caleb. I was like, "Trust me, it's not rigged." I'm like, "Trust me, y'all."
I didn't do this.
I did not.
They are, for those who don't, let me go get a purple one. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm wearing one of them.
While I'm doing that, listeners, for the listeners, we get off the actual podcast. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WarHeroLJ and streaming on our Twitch channel on Friday nights, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace.
And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24. I am moving, like, very soon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I actually am not going to be streaming for a week or two, maybe 3, we'll see. But typically, you can find me Tuesday night streaming twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace, playing Persona 4 Golden. Pretty close to the end of that game, but I'm not quite there yet.
Cool.
And then you can always find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.